All right. Welcome back to another episode of Green Room Confessions. We kind of took a little vacation. I went out of the country, got away from these guys because I can't stand their faces. And we're going to try to reconvene.
Well, the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, well, I can't stand my face too.
You're bald.
I shower with the lights off and just like the light of my phone so I don't have to see myself because I don't want to see myself in the mirror. It's
You have
scary.
a mirror in your shower?
What I have in my shower is none of your business.
So
But
you got your mirror and your phone in your shower. I'm starting to get a little weird.
I know you have copious amounts of shampoo.
I do have one of those little...
That is the most useless purchase I've ever heard of a human being making.
Yeah. No, but I do have one of those, what is it, like broski cups that kind of, it's a koozie that goes on the shower wall.
Shower beers.
yeah.
Yeah, for shower
Yeah.
beer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got one of those koozies.
I have one of those.
Yeah,
Mine's
yeah.
camouflage.
I have a
Yeah.
shelf.
You have a shelf?
Yeah, there's just a shelf in my shower.
Well,
I got
I
a
have-
little sticky thing.
Why
that
are
holds
you
a
setting
can.
shower beers down?
Well,
He's got to wash his hair.
I get both hands into the beard.
You
You
wow.
know, I got to put forth some effort in hair. That's the only hair I got.
You
so I
guys
gotta-
only have one?
Yeah. Well, no, my shelf is taken over by my fiance. I got engaged. Oh yeah, that's kind of
Saturday.
yeah, Saturday. This past Saturday.
I'd probably leave the country if I got engaged too.
Yeah. Well, this was I left the country, then came back and got engaged. But
Did you eat any pet chickens while you were over there this time?
no, I didn't. But there were chickens on one of the islands that we went to. We went on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and they had little chickens on one of the islands. And my
No
daughter-
villagers wanted to sacrifice it for the white man.
No, we paid enough money. There was no sacrificing. We had a buffet and everything. So, yeah, if Royal Caribbean wants to sponsor this, we'll take it because it was one of the best cruises I've ever been on. It's fantastic.
I'm a big cruise fan.
Speaking of sponsors,
Yeah, speaking of sponsors, we got some, and I think this will be when Colin can play the ad. Today's episode of Green Room Confessions is brought to you by our first official sponsor. Holy crap, guys, we're officially sponsored now? This has got to be a typo. No, wait, we really are? Cowboy Revolutions Apparel Company. Gosh, I love those guys. You know, you see those hats, those trucker hats, it says cowboy hat on them. Yeah, that's our guys right now. Our first official sponsor, Cowboy Revolutions Apparel Company. Listen, guys, I love these hats. As a bald man, I take my hats very seriously. They got to sit comfortable on my head, and they spare no expense on these hats. They're super high quality. They feel amazing on my head. I love them. You can go to cowboyrevolutions.com. You can go get yourself one of these hats, maybe a t-shirt or something, stickers, some water bottles, you name it, they have you ready to go. So head over to cowboyrevolutions.com, use our promo code GRC15 for 15% off your entire purchase. That's GRC15. Here as usual, we have our sound expertise over here.
What the f- is an expertise?
Expertise is when you fucking suck at your job.
there it is.
There it is.
Fair enough.
And so Colin Irvin's here with us, and then
For legal reasons, that was count number one.
yeah, we have Willie here back with us again after taking a week off. We got Willie back in the saddle.
I didn't take a week off. I worked till 8 o'clock that day.
Well, you know,
I had a 14-hour
Excuses.
day that day.
well, you know, we all have bad days. Here I am. Look at me. I'm fat. I'm bald. I have a little wiener, and
And
I'm
a lot
still
of shampoo
here.
in the shower.
And a lot of shampoo
A lot of
for
daily
no
reminders
hair.
that I'm bald.
And then we have our legal expert over here, as always, keeping us on the track, Mr. Cody Begley. And then today's guest, I guess my boss in a weird sort of way, Mr. Trey Bryant. Thank
What's
you
up,
for
y'all?
coming. Hey, thanks
for having me.
Yeah, glad you made the trip up.
You know, it was good. It was a little bit rushed. Made it up. Didn't speed for legal reasons.
There you go.
I didn't
We
speed.
did not speed. Yeah,
Good,
we
he's
obeyed
learning.
the laws. Yeah.
I'd like to point out a fun fact.
What's
Anybody
fun?
notice that the majority of this podcast is from Laurel County?
It's very true.
Like, not just this episode.
Yeah, that's been true.
Well, Cody.
Colin and I went to high
Everybody
school together.
but you.
Oh, everybody in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. And on the
Yeah.
last one.
So I guess
And the one before.
And the
I
very
guess
first
I'm
one.
the only one that's never.
Don't say it.
Okay, I won't say it.
Say it.
No, it's okay. I'll be good.
Say it.
Let your intrusive thoughts win.
Cousins are for practice, and we all know that.
We're just from the foothills. You don't think he knows nothing about that? He's from the actual mountains.
That's where siblings come into play.
Ding 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 ding. Yeah. No, none of that. I did go on a date one time with this girl, and about halfway through, I found out that she was like a second cousin.
Like a second cousin?
I don't know, like second or third. I didn't know.
What is like a second
Well,
cousin?
I don't know if she was a second or a third, but we did realize we were distant cousins.
So you said halfway through. That means you went another half of the date.
Halfway. Well, I finished dinner. I mean, I'm fat. I'm not going to just get up and. You think I'm going to walk away from food? No,
All I
I
can
don't
think
care.
about is the scene from Joe Dirt where he finds out it's
You're my
his sister.
sister. You're my sister. No, I did finish dinner. I ain't gonna walk away from it. It was ribs too. It was
You
good.
finished?
Was it at the family reunion?
No, it was
Is that what you found
no, it was the same night, and it was
He said we went to lunch, then we went to the family reunion after.
Seen each other.
yeah. We're not Targaryens, so we didn't have to worry about the bloodline being tarnished. But that was a Game of Thrones reference, Willie.
Never seen it.
Nerd.
Never once.
You never.
I did. I started House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
My roommate loves that.
I made it through about a half a season of Game of Thrones, and then I stopped. But I've enjoyed House of the Dragon.
I watched the first season, but I haven't watched the latest season because I'm impatient. That was the sound of a good old Coors Banquet, a Yellow Jacket, a Cowboy Cabernet. Some good stuff right there.
Colorado Kool-Aid right there.
Colorado Cooler-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
What's
Kool-Aid.
that restaurant? I don't know where it is, but they throw biscuits.
Oh,
I've eaten one of them.
oh crap! What is it called?
No, not that.
Something home with the throwed rolls because it
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
it makes me up.
That is why I
because it
mentioned
says
the
throwed
rolls.
rolls. You can't throw something.
Oh, you can.
You
I've
can.
throwed
You
many-
claim to be from the
I've
mountains.
throwed many of things.
Lambert's. That's
Lambert.
it.
Yeah.
Lambert's.
It
Yeah, I
is.
knew it'd come to me.
She throwed that
that's what
ass
she
in a
said.
circle.
Yeah. We also have Wisconsin and Mansion or whatever. But whatever. Anyway, Trey, tell us a little bit about you. What got you started in music? Where does your musical journey begin?
Where's your mucus started?
my
Where's
mucus?
your-
Oh,
You
yeah, I forgot.
just heard
This,
some mucus
this
pop up right
podcast
there.
is supposed to be, productive.
Yeah.
My bad.
Tell us about your musical journey.
Well, I was on a date with my cousin,
yeah.
and then
He fits right
She
in.
wanted serenaded.
he didn't specify. If
So I
it
throw
was
I
male
throwed
or
her a song on the
female.
radio.
Was she like a second cousin or
just like a second cousin.
like a
Like a
second
second
cousin?
More like
no,
first.
yeah.
Like a second cousin's legal, okay? I just want to put that out there.
That's like a twice removed type. You
Yeah.
can throw like in there.
That's
and
when a
it's-
girl doesn't like us. You're like her brother.
Yeah.
Through-
I'm not really your brother, but
it's
you're
through
like my
marriage.
brother.
You're good.
Willie's heard that one before. I
What?
like you, but you're really like a brother to me.
I hear that. I've heard that a lot. 'cause
I know,
I'm such a
that's
nice
why I said
person.
it.
I'm such a nice person.
Got
Yeah, I
flashbacks.
bet you are.
I'm ugly, but I'm a nice person, so that's
Yeah.
always the go-to.
Well, I'm ugly and not a nice person, so I'm screwed.
Yeah, I just get thrown in as awkward.
Yeah, I tried to set
This is
Colin
a true
up-
story. as
tried
of
to set Colin
a
up
few days ago.
Saturday, and the girl came up to him and everything, and he just was like awkward and started pushing faders on the board and was like, I don't know what to
To
do.
preface-
with my hand.
Beep, boop, boop,
I
boop.
was doing my job.
Well,
The band wasn't playing.
They were 100% playing.
no, they weren't.
It was poor timing on my part.
He wanted me to wingman him. He's been talking about me wingmanning him up forever, and I
Because
did.
you claimed to be such a good one. I wanted to test you out.
Hey, it's
And
like
You did
Aerosmith
great.
says,
I'm,
man. You gotta
I'm
get back in
taking
the
full
saddle.
responsibility for it here.
I find
It was
Wingman-
poor
Wingman's
timing on
kind
my
of-
part to have you guys bring her over there when the band's on stage because I get
Well,
distracted.
You know,
This is getting
she's
really
she's
in-depth.
a very lovely young lady, and I
She
know
was.
I know Emily's going to listen to this because she's a good friend. So just Colin was nervous. He thinks you're amazing.
And we'll see
Anyway.
you this weekend, Emily.
Trey,
We'll see you this.
back to the reason that
Trey,
we have podcast.
all right, musical journey. Trey, and go.
Wrap around.
So we're back to
Wrap
the
around.
date of the second cousin. No, I'm just joking. But that's what got us off topic in the first place. So I grew up in Laurel County, Kentucky, like Colin said
Don't
earlier.
say Laurel. Act like you're from there. It's Laurel.
Laurel County.
Get that drawl going, buddy. I know you got
London.
just because your mama's an English teacher don't mean you got to speak it here.
That's true. That's
Wait,
true.
your mom's Miss Bryant?
Yeah.
Ding.
There you go.
Damn, I wish I had a camera on Cody's face right there. The realization of the wheels turning was just amazing right then.
Yeah.
Are you being serious, or were
Yes,
you being
I'm-
sarcastic? Okay, I thought you were like Trey Bryant. Oh, your mom's Mrs. Bryant?
No,
Oh, my
No,
God.
no. Like
I
his
went to
mom
school
really
in
is
Laurel
an Eagle
County.
secret.
Okay, I
They
didn't
went,
know.
all three of them went to North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Trey graduated.
Yeah, we
together.
graduated together. So my musical journey. So I grew up. My dad is a musician, although he would say that he would use that term loosely about himself. My grandmother was a musician as well. She had a beautiful voice and played piano, and so I kind of grew up around music. Played in church a lot. That was kind of where I got started in terms of playing instruments. I played drums was my first instrument, so started that. I think the first time I played live, I was like 8 years old, and our drummer at church was like sick that day, and so I filled in for like a song and a half of the 4-song worship set list because,
What happened to the second half?
well, I was 8 and
Shut
had
back
no
up.
stamina.
His
My arms
cousin
got a
was
little
at
tired.
church.
I was like, "All right, guys, I'm done. You finish the rest of the service. No drummer."
8 years old, you were probably already like 5'9".
That's probably true. Probably true.
How tall? What are you, like 6'4"?
6'5".
How big a boy are you?
6'5"?
Yeah.
Man, that
I
boy
get
big.
I get the craziest people say the stupidest stuff to me about being a big guy. I mean, I'm like 6'5". I look like a lineman in the NFL, probably a small lineman in the NFL.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
I mean, I've had people, they come up and they're like, "Boy, you're so big you could fight a bear off with a switch. I swear to God you could." And I'm like, "All right, buddy, that sounds good." Old man that I've never met. Appreciate it.
Oh man, Jenkins.
I'm just at Walmart trying to shop.
Dude, can I just get this lettuce and go, or what's the deal? So anyway, yeah. So got started in church. Started taking guitar lessons when I was like 12, with a Methodist preacher. He taught me, but he had a sick Les Paul, and so I was like, "Dude, this guy knows what he's talking about." And he taught me a lot. So, so then just kind of played in church. Really, that was even in college. I was playing worship music and stuff. As that's actually how I met my wife. We were worship leaders for the campus ministries at University of the Cumberlands. But then I would play like some coffee shop gigs and stuff, like at formerly You and Me in Corbin, now Folktail Coffee House. And those were fun. And then in 2020, I started playing some bar gigs for the first time, just acoustic stuff. And then I realized that I needed to probably get into the country scene, because I was playing these 3-hour acoustic sets and playing nobody artists, basically playing Noah Gunderson and guys like, there's a guy out of Austin, Texas named Caleb Mabry, and I opened my set with a song by him. And I guarantee that nobody in Kentucky's listened to that song except for me.
They probably thought you wrote it.
Yeah, probably. That's where you kind of get into the, like, everybody's like, okay, this guy's singing a lot of originals, but there's really nothing I know. I played a couple of Chris Stapleton songs, of course, like you're going to throw in Tennessee Whiskey at whatever venue you're playing at. But so I kind of started playing local bars, like the Butcher's Pub in Williamsburg. Was kind of where I started, and then I started doing some country stuff. Got super into Luke Combs, which, being a big dude with a beard, I mean, you're gonna play some Luke Combs.
All you need is a PFG shirt.
Dude, and I have a couple of them. So
Columbia hat.
or Blue Otter polarized hat, and
Is that a conflict of interest with our sponsor? Should we bleep that out?
No, it's okay.
a Cowboy Revolution hat, and
Because they're listening.
I have a couple of Cowboy Revolution hats. So I played a lot of these acoustic gigs, and then I got super into the country thing. Which, if y'all had known me, which Colin knew me in high school, but I was not a country guy in the slightest.
I never once knew any. I mean, if you want to go back, we went all the way through middle school together.
Yes.
I never once, for a second, thought you could sing. Never heard you mention music. Never knew you played guitar.
then I started doing the country thing, started writing in 2021, wrote my first song, which is actually the third single that I put out, called All Sure As Heaven Try. I wrote that with my brother, Will Bryant, who he's actually about to have some music come out, which I'm pretty excited about. But anyway, we started writing some stuff. I wrote a song called Kentucky Home. That was the first single I put out. And then I wrote a song with my wife that it started out as an accident song, which was great. But starting to kind of dip my toes into, I'd been covering country stuff, and then I was dipping my toes into writing country stuff. So that was very, very interesting. But now, kind of fast forward to the beginning of 2023, I put together a band, some guys that I had played in churches with, and really appreciated those guys. Two of those guys are still with me, and now Justin is holding down the low end on the bass.
Not holding much, but I appreciate it.
He's holding a bass.
I am holding that.
And playing
He
it.
brings energy.
He does. He brings a ton of energy.
I sometimes do when I'm not puking my guts out behind the truck.
That was an interesting show.
That was yeah.
We played the Whitley County Fair a couple weeks ago, and Justin was.
I had food poisoning. I'm convinced it was food poisoning.
Yeah.
And
It's called commitment.
I walked off the
Honestly.
stage in the middle of a song, and I recreated a scene from The Exorcist and projectile vomited, and then played the rest of the show.
Were you still playing the
Yes.
bass like when you ate the food truck?
Yes.
I tried until
can rally.
I don't know, like if I
could hear
probably
him.
stopped in between because it was like it was
It's pretty bad when you can hear him with like monitors and speakers and you singing and everything going on. You can still hear it.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was a rough time.
It was a rough night. I could tell that Justin was not on his
No.
A game. Not from his playing. It was just his energy
His play
wasn't
was
there.
as bad as usual, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His playing was the same. But
It was. I always say like I'm not gonna suck any less or any worse. I'm gonna hit the same amount of wrong notes,
yeah.
and it's usually the same songs.
So
I'll eventually learn them, maybe.
He'll distract you enough to let you know, like, to keep you from realizing
you're
he's
gonna
playing mostly wrong notes.
you're gonna see that chest, and that'll just distract you from anything that could be
You
incorrect.
will see that
the
chest.
cowboy hat and the shirt unbuttoned. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Trademarked.
Trademark.
So Trey, how hard of a transition was it for you? Like you said, you grew up playing mostly Christian music. When you started writing country stuff, how hard of a transition for that was you? Because when I was living down in Nashville, I started experimenting with some songwriting, even though just I'm god awful at it. But I got hooked in with this guy named Chad Chapin, and he was a drummer for Michael Tate, and he's wrote for I think Casting Crowns and stuff like that. He's had a few songs go pretty big, and we just never could figure it out because I knew country stuff, he knew that Christian rock stuff, and it just never would blend. So how hard of a transition was that for you?
The good thing for me was that I didn't write any Christian stuff, so it wasn't the writing was pretty easy because I went into it thinking that I wanted to tell stories. And really a lot of the music that I've put out, half of the music that I've put out has been about how much I'm very proud to be from Kentucky. Kentucky Home, obviously, I've always said it's like a love letter to the state. And my other single, I Don't Want to Leave This Town, which I wrote with my wife Cameron, is really, I always say it's a love letter to Williamsburg, Kentucky, because it's where I've lived for 10 years, going on 11 years. My parents met in Williamsburg. My grandparents met in Williamsburg. And then I met my wife in Williamsburg. It's just a very like I live in the house that's right next door to where my great grandmother lived on a family farm down in Williamsburg. So, for me, it was just what was inspirational at the time. And it was all about the surrounding area, basically, and being from southeastern Kentucky. Which I feel like you don't hear a ton of stuff. I feel like people write a lot about being from Alabama or being from Mississippi. I mean, if you listen to a Hardy song, he's going to talk about being from Mississippi. But for me, I was like, I didn't know of a ton of music that was specific to being from Kentucky and being proud of being from specifically southeastern Kentucky, because I mean you've got the Loretta Lynn stuff that's very
you
eastern
got the cool
Kentucky,
country music highway,
and
over there.
bluegrass.
yeah, and bluegrass stuff about being from, but most of that's about being from very eastern Kentucky. And I understand that it could be pretty niche to write about a specific region of Kentucky, but at the time it was what was inspirational to me.
What do you do when you go sit down and write a song? Like, how long does it, like, from start to finish? This is something I've been asking, like, our songwriters. Like, do you just, like, write something down and go with it? Or do you just take a day and say, hey, today I'm going to write a song? Or, like, I got this thought in my mind. Like, what's your process?
Generally, for songs that I've written on my own, they sometimes take a couple of weeks to write. I know that when I wrote I'll Sure as Heaven Try with my brother, like I said, it was the first song I ever wrote. We wrote it in like 45 minutes. And it was pretty decent. Especially for me, I was like, well, this is the first song I ever wrote. So, and just a shout out to, or a tip for any songwriters listening to this, that's never going to go, like, I thought that was my low point of writing because it was the first song I ever wrote. There are way lower points of songwriting. But it was, for me, it's like, it always starts with an idea or like a phrase. If you go through the notes app in my phone, I mean, it's just chock full of half-written songs, and there are songs I've written without even having a guitar. Like I'll just get hit with some inspiration while I'm sitting at my desk at work, and I'll just pull my phone out and start typing out lyrics that I think would be in a certain rhythm and kind of hear it. And then when I get home, I'll sit down with a guitar and kind of put it to music.
And for legal reasons, you don't do that on your phone at work.
Correct. Yeah, I'm 100% productive at my job,
As are we all.
as we all are. Especially Justin.
Yeah.
Especially Justin.
Yeah, let's go places.
So it kind of has varied from song to song. This new single that I put out a few weeks ago called Make It to Nashville, I wrote with some people from Nashville. And we did that over a FaceTime call. And we just sat for like 4 hours and wrote a couple of different songs. I had that one pretty much mapped out where I wanted it to go. It just needed some punch ups in some different spots. And then we wrote another song that'll be out this fall called Yellow Pages. And we wrote that one completely from scratch. But what I love about songwriting is that you can start with an idea and know where you think you want a song to go, and then it will go somewhere completely different by the end of it. That happened with Yellow Pages. My kind of idea was to write about a phone book and how all of I almost drew some inspiration from like Luke Combs' refrigerator door, where it's like all the things that are your past and your history are all in the refrigerator door. Right. And I was thinking about a phone book and how like your hometown is a certain way and things like that. This is all trademarked, so I'm still going to write a song about it because this didn't go the way that started. But we kind of took it in like a breakup direction, and then took it in a direction of, well, the Yellow Pages may not be the phone book. Actually, Cameron had this stroke of genius about this song. It's really fits more in the scope of legal pad Yellow Pages, and like writing songs on Yellow Pages of a legal pad.
You ever credit on it?
I haven't uploaded it yet, but I definitely am going to.
Word's a third.
Yeah, I definitely am going to, because that was...
He's married her. His word's half.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And when I start making money, baby, you'll get half of it. I haven't made any money yet, so...
$2.12. Thanks for the Spotify click, guys.
But yeah, so I've really enjoyed the songwriting part of it. It's not a huge part of our live show. You know that, Justin. I mean... Our show is 95% covers, but people really enjoy the originals, I think, which is something that I always struggle with, because I don't want people to come into a show and think, well, this guy's just playing originals, and I always feel like I'm going to lose a crowd if I play an original versus playing a cover that they really love.
From the venue side, it's a very fine line to walk when an artist comes in here, where you put your originals and where you put your covers and which covers you put. Me and Colin were just on Friday talking about the band that was on stage. We're like, their lineup, like their set list just doesn't make sense.
Made zero sense.
Like they would go from like a funk song straight into like a death metal song. And we're like, what is going on here? But they were good.
It's fine if you
don't recommend,
and it's fine if you want to like throw a little bit of everything in there. But you've got to know how to transition it. You can't just jump off the cliff. You got to walk down the hill.
100%.
It's very creative how you have to.
I'm kind of fat, so I'll just roll down the hill, and I'll catch up eventually.
But I see it from both sides. So like Cody said, yeah, you want to keep the crowd involved. The venues want you to like. I don't know of any venue that's going to be like, don't play a single original song.
Right.
So it is a fine line that you got to walk. But then you also got people like Kip Moore and Eric Church that they refuse to be cover artists.
Yeah.
They started out as cover artists, and then somebody looked at them and said, "Why? What's the point of singing somebody else's song?"
Yeah.
So I see it from both perspectives, and it's just you got to figure out what works best for you.
Yeah, it's a tough line. I am really happy with our set list. I think we have 4 originals in the set in our 3-hour show. We'll soon add a 5th, but Justin can attest that a lot of the time we will skip 1 or 2 of them just for energy's sake. I'll call out in the moment like, hey, we're going to skip Kentucky Home because people are super into where we're at right now, and I don't want to lose them by doing a slow original.
Yeah.
That's
because
a big thing to
doing
have.
a slow song in the first place when you've got a lot of energy is just going to go down the drain, and then make it a slow original. Like it's not even a slow song that people really know.
That's one of the big things I've seen. Is just a band will be on stage and they'll play like Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. The crowd's into it. They're drinking. They're having a great time. And it's like, all right, Tennessee whiskey. And it's like, what did you just do to the energy in the room? You just sucked it out.
I tell bands this whenever they're wanting to start throwing originals into their sets and stuff, and match your energy. If I'm all for when you've got them there, it doesn't matter how big the crowd is. It doesn't matter how much they're paying attention to you. Everybody in this room can attest. At some point, all eyes are going to be on you, and everybody's going to be involved, and you're going to have people in front of the stage. And in my opinion, that's when a good time to play an original to see how it does. But you also have to match what got them out there. So if you go in from Beer Never Broke My Heart into it, you better make something that's the same tempo, same type of energy.
Yeah.
Or if you get them out there dancing with Tennessee whiskey, then play your slow song.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to match it.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm gonna brag on the band I used to be in. We had a great set list, and we knew how to use it, and that's really important.
Yeah.
Right. The
Like
thing
you
about
don't want to kill it.
playing live music too is you may play the same songs in your set list all the time, but you might not have the same people in the crowd every time. So it might be the first time they've ever heard you do it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I am super passionate about set list, order and set list flow. And I think that comes from my days in the church of hey, we went, you set up a 4-song set in a church service and you want that to flow really well. So what we did was sit down and say, okay, well, instead of a 4-song set, we're making a 50-song set. How do we make that flow? And then we've even refined that even more when it comes to venues where you're doing you're doing 3 or 4 hours, but there's, set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4 with a 15-minute break in between. I think our set list is always evolving and changing. I'm about to send the guys 3 songs to work on for our next show. And Justin's hearing about it for the first time right now. So,
Justin has home.
I don't think he's gonna complain.
One of the things I tell every band that walks in here, I look at them and say, hey, how many bangers do you have? And they'll be like, oh, we got about 10 or 11 of them. I was like, save those for 11:45 and get you 15 more. Because at 11:30 to 12:30 is the most packed dance floor here. They're let's say
Energetic.
intoxicated. and energetic,
Energetic.
they're going to be into it, and then they're
Yeah.
going to remember your name because they had a good night that night.
Yeah.
If you wait till 11:30,
Depends
and
on
all
how, as Willie said, energetic they are.
yeah, at the
They
end of the
might
night,
not remember.
They might not.
They might not have
They
the
might go back and look and
capacity
say,
to remember.
"Oh man, who played last night? Oh, it's that Trey Bryant guy. Let's go see him in Lexington next time he's there."
Yeah, and that's a thing that I've struggled with in terms of our I won't say struggled with. I've kind of gone back and forth on in terms of, because my philosophy with our set list was come out, hit them right in the friggin' between the eyes, just tear it up for the first 6 songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into another part of the set list where I'm like, man, I really wish we had a couple of those songs from the beginning,
especially
because there
when
was nobody here when we started.
Yeah, you start at 9:00, and then you impress the venue
Right.
and the owners and the bartenders, and they've bought in.
But then they're going to hear those songs again later because I want to play them again
Exactly.
for the people that are here.
Yeah, use those bangers for sound check.
Yeah.
And that way you've got them in your pocket again
Right.
later.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's something that as we kind of grow and evolve and get into bigger and better venues, and which I think we've been super fortunate to play the venues we've played, and I think we're going to continue to add to the roster of venues, which will be great.
How long you've not been doing full band shows very long though, have you?
Our first show was in April of last year.
April of last
April
full,
of
so
2023.
full band for
Yeah.
just over a year.
I started playing drums for another country artist who's originally from Corbin. He now lives in Nashville. So I started playing for him in 2022, and I started as a drummer, and then our guitarist left, so I switched into playing lead guitar, which honestly I had no business doing. But
You're a fantastic guitar player.
I would
you
say
you really are.
I can hold
though.
my own.
Yeah, no, you really are a good guitar player.
I can
I
hold
don't
my
think
own.
people realize that. They just see you as, the eye candy up there and a good voice.
Heck
and
yeah, they do.
They see that perfect hair.
Yeah, well, if I don't have a hat on, it's coiffed.
It is. It's very fluffy. I like it.
I just learned a new word.
Coiffed.
You got to
Thank
use
you, Miss Bryant.
Yeah.
If anybody couldn't tell, my parents were not English teachers.
My mom was a teacher, but she still says library. So
Was she the librarian?
no, she wasn't the
She was
librarian.
a real teacher.
Well, I don't know about that.
But I do have a question for you. So,
Yes, sir.
and not to keep harping on like the transition from like church music to country music.
Yeah,
But this is just us being from the same area, and we went to high school together. We graduated together. I know how people from Laurel County are. When you went from playing just strictly in church to now all of a sudden you're playing in bars, any animosity towards you from church? Because I know how people in London are.
Mm-hmm.
There's some that won't judge you for anything, and I've said it for years. The only difference between me, who I have not been to a church service in 15 plus years,
Straight to
and
hell.
somebody that sits front row every Sunday
Yeah.
is I don't lie about what I done on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's literally the only difference
That's very
between
true.
me and 90% of them.
yeah.
So I know how judgmental people are and everything. So was there any animosity that you catch? Like, I'm not listening to your music.
I wouldn't say animosity. I would say, there's a lot of the like Christianese that ends up happening where people are like, don't soil your blessing. Don't do something that's going to cause you to lose your witness. Well, in my mind, like, I'm still a Christian person. I still am. I'm not I'm not at church every Sunday. A lot of the times because I'm playing at a bar until 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, and it's just
Sinner.
not. Yeah,
Straight to hell for you too.
Them hangovers are a bitch on Sunday morning.
it's just not feasible.
These church paying gigs don't pay good.
To go along with that, though, is now that you are playing more and you're singing more, do you get a lot more like people bugging you to sing at church versus in the bars?
I have had a few people come up and ask, hey, do you want to come be a part of our worship team or be a part? And those people have, I will say, I am not on their worship team, but I will say they came to me and said, we love that you do what you do on Friday and Saturday nights. We're not going to come at you and say, you need to stop that because we want you on stage on Sunday morning. I think that my dad has a great line and my dad, if you know him at all, he's the king of just like a little phrase or a saying or something. But his thing has always been not every meal has to be communion. I can go eat a Big Mac at McDonald's, and it's not sacrilegious or something because I'm not taking communion for dinner on Friday night.
See, I can relate a lot to you because I still play in my worship band on the Sundays that I'm scheduled.
Right.
Like, I still make it a priority to be there every Sunday.
Well,
it is
Justin,
hard.
why is he not a sinner? Why is he not a sinner?
He's there.
He's the only reason we're going to make it to heaven.
He's
You
praying us
podcast.
in.
We say that as a joke, but you realize that means we're wishing death on Willie before the rest of us. Like, he's got to get there
Hey,
first
man, only a good
to put a
die
good
young,
word
man.
in.
Hey, look at that hair. Okay. Is that not the most Jesus hair you've ever seen?
Well,
I relate to the whole, like, Saturday night thing. Because, like,
Yeah.
playing a Friday night till 2, and then you rest Saturday, and then, like, say you leave for a show at 4 on Saturday, and then you don't get home till 3, and then it's like,
This
man,
is why
like,
he slept in my car so many times, because he's like,
Yeah.
I got to make it to church on
Well,
Sunday.
and like for us, like worship team musicians,
you got to get there early.
got to get there early.
Yeah, if you got to do
and
sound check
it's
going
like,
through.
so I'm getting at church.
I
I'm
used to
getting
play
to
at church, I
at
know.
8. So it's like, man, like those made for some rough nights. So I can relate to that.
No,
But
it's
I
a-
still do that.
Yeah,
so.
that's and here's the thing, like my guitarist and drummer both play at their churches.
Yeah.
And I have always said, like the bass player that we had before Justin also played at his church. And then he got offered a position at their church to be the worship pastor. And he told me, I'm going to have to take a step back. And I've told all of these guys, because I know that they play in church from the beginning, when I called them the first time and said, hey, Blake, do you want to be my guitarist? Hey, Wes, do you want to be my drummer? I said, also, I would love for you to be on there every show, but I will never make you choose between doing church and doing my stuff. Because if you have to make that decision, I'm going to make it for you, and it's not going to be my stuff. Because I understand how important it is. It's not my place to tell them, hey, listen, you're out if you miss because you got a church thing, or you're out because of this or that. Or if they say, hey, listen, I'm getting some more opportunities and more, this is what I feel like I should do. It's not my place to say, no, it's not. You're supposed to be on stage with me at a bar on Saturday night. That's just it's not my call to make, because it's really up to them. It's their life and their journey and their family and all of those things. And I've always said it's not my decision to make you all miss that, because I came from that. So I understand 100% what the importance of it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and going back to Colin's question originally, I the pushback was more, I think it came out of a place of love and wanting the best for me and my family. But I also think there was a level of ignorance in terms of, you don't understand what my Saturday night looks like. Just because I'm in a bar, like, yeah, I may have a beer, I may have a drink right before I go on stage, but I am not, and Justin can attest to this, I'm not drinking heavily during a show because I want to provide an excellent show.
And none of us really drink
Yeah.
heavily. I think
No.
last gig I had 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. 1, 2.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
is drinking super heavily, and I really love our band, and we've talked about this too. All of our band members are in committed relationships. I'm married. Blake, my guitarist, is married. Wes is married. Justin's engaged. Like, we're all in committed relationships. We're not trying to hook up with the girl in the front row. We're not drinking super heavily. But we have some killer gigs, and it's not alcohol fueled or anything like that. Like, it's just, we just have a good time.
It's music.
Yeah,
It's
I
music.
think
It's
we
what-
all just love to play music.
Yeah.
And we have a good time with each other, and
100%.
it's good to
And-
play with a group of guys that you get along with and that you enjoy their company just to be around.
Yeah. And that's a tough thing too, is coming into it and saying, hey, we've got these guys, and like Justin joined the band relatively recently in the last few months, and has, merged right in. Like, it's crazy. I mean, everybody just accepted him in. He accepted everybody.
I kind of just forced my way in. I was just like,
I think Savannah more forced you into it than anything.
Yeah,
That checks
absolutely,
out.
she did. Yeah. After I did that filling gig when we did that Lori's,
Yeah.
and I was telling you, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of bandless right now and stuff. And you were like, well, I'm going to need you for some more opportunities. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And Savannah on the way home was like, if he calls you and asks you to go full time, you're going to be stupid. I'll be so mad at you if you don't. And then that was like Saturday, and then I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or
I
Wednesday.
was like, hey, actually, what are you doing?
I have a wraparound question.
Wrap around, son.
Yes, sir.
You said you work. One of the focuses of this podcast are
Thank you, Willie.
day job working musicians.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind me asking, where do you work?
Yeah.
And is it hard to balance your musician life with your full-time job life?
So I'm an accountant at a manufacturing plant in Stearns, Kentucky, McCreary County. And basically I do a lot of like inventory management and accounts payable stuff. That's another thing. I have an accounting degree and a master's in business administration. So not just a pretty face. I've got some smarts.
He's smart too.
So I do that during the day, 9 to 5. Very productive. Not writing songs on my phone ever.
Nope, absolutely not. Only on your personal time.
Yes. And then to answer your other question, it is sometimes tough. I always say that, like, if I had the opportunity to do it full time and I didn't have to go to an office Monday through Friday, it would be so much easier and I could play so many more shows. Because I wouldn't have to rely on my Sunday to recover. I could recover through the week. I could write through the week.
Right.
Because that's the other thing about being an artist in this day and age is you can't get by on just being an artist. You have to be an artist. You have to be basically a genius at marketing.
Yeah,
you have to be incredible at social media.
Yep.
And you better be willing to give a lot of things up.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, you have to be able to work to live so that you can play music on the weekends until you hit 20,000 Instagram followers and a record label will look at you. And even then you don't have any money. That's the thing. Like, I've heard artists say the time in my life where I had the least amount of money was when I had a record deal. So it's like, you got to really
giving
fight.
your soul away just to get somebody to put a little bit of money behind you.
That's why you have so many people that are doing the writing thing. They get so much more money out of doing a publishing deal than they do a record deal, because they get that pull from the writing, the publishing house.
Right.
And then if they get a cut, they get additional money. And if they get, on the radio, it's additional money. And so all of that's very interesting to me. Hey Siri.
I'm trying to. I'm sorry. we might be able to edit that out. I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a break.
Yeah, we can take a break.
And when we come back, we'll probably do. You can do us a song if you'd like.
It sounds good.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe I'll do the my single that came out a few weeks ago. Make It to Nashville.
Make It to Nashville. It's a good one. I've played it a few times.
You've played it a few times.
Yeah. I don't know if I played it right, but I played it.
Ain't got a dollar to my name, 'cause every time I ever saved turns to gas in my tank, and I can't help but think I'm crazy for chasing this dream. Gold records in the living room, man, it couldn't come too soon. Every stop on the way, it just looks the same. Till I make it to Nashville, the years alive with the sound of a steel string, covers for cash wheels, like I'm living a damn good dream. Beer and whiskey for like milk and honey, while I'm walking down streets of gold. I don't want to wake up, no I don't, till I make it to Nashville, yeah. I'm gonna kick it into overdrive, gonna rock this town all night. Same old guitar, but my name's on the bar when I make it to Nashville. Feeling alive with the sound of a steel string. Yeah, it's a real deal. Yeah. Now I'm living a damn good dream. Being whiskey full like milk and honey. While I'm walking down streets of gold, I ain't gonna give up. No, I won't. Till I make it to Nashville, yeah. Till I make it to Nashville, yeah.
That was "Make It to Nashville" by Trey Bryant. Trey, thanks so much for sharing that with us.
Of course.
Can you give us a little bit of history, backstory of that song? Like
yeah.
where it came from, what inspired you?
So we spend a lot of time in Nashville. We're there. Me and my wife are there 10 or 12 times a year, generally, for playing shows or networking, or just like, we just love Nashville a ton. So the song was originally called "Wake Up in Nashville." There is another song.
Yeah, I was going to say
Spotify.
it's done been done.
Yeah, called "Wake Up in Nashville." So when I was writing, kind of like I mentioned before, I wrote this song with some people in Nashville over FaceTime. And when we were writing it, we were kind of looking to make sure that we were good in terms of, is this idea already there? Blah, blah, blah. And so we switched it up to "Make It to Nashville." But really, it outlines kind of the dream of any musician, especially a country musician or country artist, who, Nashville is a crazy competitive town, but it also is the town where stuff happens.
It's the mecca of country
absolutely,
music. Yeah,
absolutely. So, we had a few lines. Cameron, my wife, had a couple of lines that she gave me for that song as well. And then I kind of wrote the beginning of it on my phone, just no guitar. I just wrote, "I ain't got a dollar to my name, because every dime I ever saved," and then it kind of just expanded from there. And then I really like the bridge of that song, because while I have written a couple of songs about being from Kentucky and loving Kentucky so much, and the roots that I have here, the bridge of my song "I Don't Want to Leave This Town" says, I know it's all wishful thinking that we'd spend our days on this hallowed ground, because I know that I'll keep on dreaming, keep chasing that old stage and lights and crowd. So then it's kind of a transition song into "I want to make it to Nashville." And so the first half of that song is more about like dreaming about the making it to Nashville. And then the bridge transitions us into a chorus that says, "I'll finally say I made it to Nashville." And so the perspective kind of shifts to say, what would it be like if I was there? Not, I'm still dreaming about it.
Right.
So I'm super proud of it. And the production on it, I mean,
it's a great song.
Is great.
It's funny how you explained it, because that's not how I interpreted the song.
Okay,
Listen
yeah.
to it. To me, it was more so about the dream of Nashville, but making your Nashville at your home. And I kind of took it as like, yeah, my dream is to be the big star in Nashville, but I can do that here.
Okay.
That's kind of how I interpreted it.
I love
listening to
that
it.
kind of stuff.
The gold records in the living room.
That is a very
kind of make it a little.
I saw it
personal.
more from your perspective of writing it, and I think it's more of where I did the whole Nashville thing.
Yeah.
And I live down there, and I know how competitive it is. I mean, I'm back here.
100%.
But those are all stories for another time.
Yeah.
So to come off of that, is that your goal as a musician? Is get in Nashville, be a Broadway guy, be arenas, stadium tours, things like that? Or is it, I'm doing this right now because I love it. If it ends, I'm okay. But because we've had a couple different people here that, like Kevin Thomas was, I want to be Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
It was kind of his way.
Yeah.
Hannah was just kind of like, I like playing around here. I love music, and I don't care where I'm at as long as I'm playing music.
Yeah.
And then another guy I talked to was like, I'm done at 35. I might not pick up a guitar again because I'm just doing this while I'm young.
I would say it's a combination of those kind of perspectives that I have loved so much over the last year and a half specifically, being a country artist from Kentucky, playing these shows on the 75 corridor, I truly have loved and will continue to love playing shows at venues in Lexington and Corbin and Cincinnati, and all of those are great. And huge props to all of the people that have booked us for those shows and continue to trust us to come back to venues.
It's okay, nobody's listening to this. You don't have to suck up to them.
Thank you guys so much. That's why I wasn't
Rayla, if you're listening,
Rayla, if you're listening,
if anything,
he's got one more stop on the
thank
75
you
corridor.
so much for possibly bringing us in.
if anything, if you advertise you're on Green Room Confessions, they're going to be like, I don't like him no more.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell anybody.
But anyway, like I truly have loved what I've done in the last year and a half. I've also loved going to Nashville and playing, because I've played several shows there. I've played writers' rounds. I've played acoustic shows. I've played full band shows. I've done the Broadway thing. And those are great. I don't necessarily see myself as a Broadway guy. And that's specifically due to the amount of requests and things like that happen, because like I said earlier, I'm very particular about my set list and how it flows. And we'll do a request here and there if people really want it and we know the song. I love Justin's line about, if we know it, we'll play it, and if we don't know it, you're going to find out real quick.
Yeah, we're happy to prove it.
We're happy to prove it.
I stole that from the bounty hunters at the Bowery in Myrtle Beach.
There you go.
Yeah, they said
But
that.
I truly ascribe to that, because I don't want to do a song, for lack of a better term, I don't want to half-ass some song because I don't know it, because somebody in the front row that's drunk that won't remember that we did it, wants it. I'd rather keep my set list flow going and know that my energy level is going to be what they remember. Mm-hmm. And Nashville, on Broadway particularly, is so request heavy. It's the only way you make any money. You get these huge bars and they don't pay you anything to be there.
Because they can hire somebody else for cheaper.
Yeah,
or they can hire somebody for
else will do
free.
it just because
they'll do it just because they're playing on Broadway.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, well, I can do, I've got a 500 song bank, and I'll do requests for $20 a piece. And so that's tough, but it's also tough to make money if you're not doing requests. Mm-hmm. Because fortunately, the bars that I've played at down there do pay. It's not amazing pay, because they're banking that you're going to make money on the
tips.
On tips.
Yeah.
It's gas money, basically.
It's gas money to get there.
And maybe a hotel room.
Yeah, maybe.
So I actually have two questions for you.
Yeah.
And one's backtracking a little bit, so I'll make that first. What kind of, and this is something that we've never really touched on before.
Let's touch it.
Let's touch it.
Mm-hmm.
We've touched each other.
What kind
Sometimes.
of support system did you have when you said, I want to dive into the music industry? Because Willie knows what kind of support system he had. Justin knows what kind of support system he had. And I know what I had. And us being from the same town, I didn't have a lot of support. Mm. There's a handful of people that never told me you're either A, fucking up your life, or B, after I went to school and done it, you need to quit. Mm. Like, this ain't going to work. So what kind of support system did you have?
Yeah. Well, when I first started in doing any type of music, I would say my parents were the biggest support system that I could have asked for. It was, paying for lessons, taking me to lessons, paying for gear, amps and guitars and pedals and all the things, drum kit. That's what I got for my graduation present from high school was a nice drum kit. And then now, my number one support system has been my wife. She has 100% just dove into this thing with me and said, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it big. We're going to do it with excellence. You need to, and I'm terrible at some of this stuff, like the administrative stuff, the social media stuff, and it's like perfect, because I can go and get on stage and play for 3 hours, no problem. But the things that are important during the week that are not Friday and Saturday nights, she's really good at. So when I look at, it's a perfect pairing. She's like, hey, you need to make a reel about this, or make a post about this, or, You know, make sure that you're engaging with the people that follow you on social media. And also on Friday and Saturday night, she's at nearly every show. I mean, I can count on one hand over the last, even since I started playing acoustic shows, the last 4 years, I can count on one hand the amount of shows that she has not been at. And I know that those shows she wished with all her heart that she could have been there. And like, you can't pay a management company. You can't pay your Spotify streamers. You can't have somebody doing your social media management that's going to care that much about the mission and the vision of what you have.
Absolutely, yeah.
So 100% my biggest support is her. And also I get the awesome opportunity to write with her on occasion, and which is amazing. Like, it's just, it truly, I have told her for the last year and a half, like, I literally don't think I could do this without her being there. I don't think we'd be where we're at without her being, you know, pushing me, saying, you need to reach out to those venues, even if they're venues that you don't think that you're qualified to play yet. You are. Go do it. Because I'm such a non-promotion, like, you never want to come on and say, like, I'm so humble that I don't do this or that. But I truly, self-promotion just does not come naturally to me. And she's also, in addition to being, you know, great administrative stuff, she rarely misses a show. And when she is at shows, I never touch a guitar to load it or unload it. It's incredible.
She's also the medic that takes care of me and gets me,
Yes.
helps me throw up when I'm going to die.
100%.
How did she help you throw up? Did she
gave
shove
me
her fingers down your throat?
Don't worry about it, buddy. You should have been there.
I wonder, how did somebody help someone throw up other than that?
What was that?
She was trying to help you not throw up.
No, but it immediately made me throw up. So, like, literally 5 minutes after I took this, I was like, I'm going to go throw up behind my truck.
She gave you some Ipecac?
What was it?
Zofran.
Zofran. Yeah. She's like, take this, it'll help you. And then literally, like, 5 minutes later,
Hey, but did you feel better afterwards?
I did
You
for
did.
about
It helped you.
I did for about
Good call.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I started feeling bad again.
Enough to get him through the show.
Enough to get me through the show and throw up again on the side of 75 on the way home.
Yeah.
Get your ass back up on that stage. My husband's got songs to sing.
You know what's good for you.
Dope your ass up.
But also,
You best get out there.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
but also being just 100% sold out. That's the other part
Yeah,
of it.
absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
that's, if I didn't have somebody with me that was 100% sold out and said, I want you to do this stream and I want you to make a life out of the thing that you're passionate about. And I am 100% on board with, once that happens, that's how it's going to fund our family, hopefully one day. Like, that's a huge leap of faith to say. I mean, the amount of time investment and financial investment and all of those things that we've had to do up to this point can't be, in my mind now, it's like, it can't be for nothing. And it's, the great thing is, it's not that that's the only thing holding me to this dream. It's because I'm passionate about it as well.
Right.
But I mean, there are so many ideas, like the t-shirt that you're wearing, Justin,
We don't have a video, but it's a beautiful T-shirt.
was a Cameron Bryant idea.
I love it. That's my
So,
favorite shirt.
like, there are just a lot of things through this whole process, and I'm sure it will continue, that are great ideas that I didn't come up with, that she came up with, that she's all the time being like, I made this Spotify playlist of songs that I think you should add to the set because it would be good energy and people would really like it. Like, she is constantly thinking through, how do we make this better? How do we level this thing up? And I love that you asked the question, Colin, because it truly, between her and my parents, I couldn't do anything that I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody's got a different story on support systems. Like, you said your parents are your biggest support system, and I'm going to preface this by saying I love my parents. My parents were great, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. But when I looked at them and said, I'm going to turn down a job at 19 years old making money that people in their 60s have never made to go chase a dream, they were the first people to tell me that's stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that they've never supported me because they have. But their support is different. Like, my family never like, you come from a background in music and I don't. Like, my mom was in marching band up until she was like a sophomore in high school. That's my family's lineage in music.
Oh.
My parents can listen to a guitar and they can listen to somebody play music and know whether they're good or not, but they don't know how good I am. So my support system's been a little different. They don't ever, because they're my parents, they don't want to see me fail at something. But at the same time, if I was to come to them tomorrow and say, I'm done with music, I'm selling all my equipment, not recording no more, not doing no more live shows, they probably wouldn't try to talk me out of it.
Yeah.
So
Rayla
that's how everybody.
Rayla would, yeah.
I would try to talk you out.
I'll buy your
But-
equipment.
I'll buy it all if you'll just keep
Yeah, I was about
doing
to
it.
say, if you have a guitar amp, I'm trying to switch it up.
But no, like I just always found it interesting because you have people like from the situation I'm at, and like I said, I'm not bad mouthing my parents or anything. They just
No, yeah.
want what's best for me,
Right.
and they don't understand that business because they've never
Yeah.
attempted it, they've never tried it, and more than likely they were just fearful of what would happen to me. But you also have people out there that everybody that looks at them is like, that's dumb, you're never going to make it, and just absolutely dogging them the entire time. And then you have people like you who are just full bore behind you.
Yeah, that's what my dad told me when I wanted to go to school to play music, and my dad was like, "You'll never make any money doing that."
Yeah.
And then I went to culinary school, and I didn't make much money doing that
Learned
either.
how to smell it.
Well, and like I said
But-
earlier, I have an accounting degree, and
Yeah.
my dad said I wanted to go to school to be a history teacher, and so I started down that path. And my dad said, if you really want to do music, you need to do something that can help you fund doing music, where you can make some money. And the joke was on me. No, I'm just joking. But honestly, and then I almost went down the path again to be a history teacher. Like I started a master's in teaching, and then went back and said, no, I need to finish my MBA. I need to,
Right.
so that I can fund doing
What-
music.
Yeah, your passion, what you want to
Until music can fund music.
Right. People don't realize like how big of a time commitment this is. It's not just playing a show on Friday or Saturday. Like
Yeah, when you're running with no sponsors, no nothing, and
Nothing,
you're
it's
just
just-
like
Well, not that,
at
but
this level,
Mm-hmm.
it's
it's
playing
like,
shows and stuff is one thing, but he's sitting here on a Monday night
Yeah,
out money for gas
to promote himself.
to promote himself on a
Yeah.
Come
podcast
listen
with
Yeah, I was
7
actually
listeners.
going to figure, when's that check coming?
Whenever
We have $2.12, and we spent most of that on wine.
we spent all of
free
that.
wine. That's okay.
Yeah. That's how I get people here.
You haven't
They're
had
like,
a
what do you want
business
to drink?
degree. We need to
We're
learn how to
actually-
manage money. a
We're
little
talking,
better.
But-
we're talking to Boone's Farm right now about getting a wine sponsor.
But
Yeah.
like until you're in it, like my fiance Savannah, like she didn't realize how much went into, playing a show until we started dating, and she was like, if we have a new song, like we're gonna learn or something, like it's in I gotta sit and listen to this song 20, 30 times just to even try to comprehend, and then I call Willie and saying, hey, what should I play?
Well, we talked
Uh,
earlier about like
but
sacrifice.
there's
and
so much
everything,
that
and,
people
like,
don't
oh,
realize.
dude,
Like
yeah.
if you're a local musician, like just on the level that we're at, like there's so much that goes into it. Like I spent an hour today at work making a promo for the gig that we're playing on Friday with
And that
Kevin
was his
Thomas.
lunch break, Toyota.
That was my
For
lunch
legal
break.
reasons.
It actually was my lunch break.
But no, like,
Um,
we talked earlier about sacrifice and everything. I feel like this is a good time to touch on this. Is like I always tell people, like I've had multiple people come up to me and like what to expect whenever you get into it and everything. I'm like, you better be ready to give up one of three things because you're not going to
Sex
have
is one
time
of
for
them.
all of them.
Yeah, sex
You're
is
either
definitely
gonna have to give up family
Unless you're
time,
really good at guitar.
your
Uh,
social life,
no.
or sleep. It's one of the three. You've got to get rid of. You
And
cannot do all three.
Generally, it's going to be,
And for me, it was sleep.
yeah, sleep. I would say for me, playing shows is when I get my social time. That's the thing for me. Like,
yeah, me too.
I love, and my wife can attest to this. I love let's go out to dinner before we play a show. Like, let's all go hang out. That's what we do before we play in Lexington. Like,
Yeah.
we'll go eat some sushi.
We had sushi
We'll
last
all
time, yeah.
show up and meet at the restaurant and eat before we go load in. or like when we've played at a bigger venue like Lori's, where they, you have to be there at noon for a 8 p.m. show. Well, you got a ton of time in between. That's the time that I get to hang out with my friends. And that's the great thing about being in a band with your friends. Like,
So you've almost turned your band into a family.
Right.
Because Justin's kind of told me how you guys interact with each other. I'm like, it sounds like a family more than a
Well,
band.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that
That's
connects to
important.
that is Justin
think so.
gets engaged, and I mean, Trey's up here. He was the first one here to celebrate with him, and I mean,
Yeah.
that's just kind of the bond that they have. And I mean, that's just, and Justin hasn't been playing with you that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just, I was like, you know what? I like these guys. I'm just gonna let them know. But hey, guys, early in the week, I texted them and was like, hey, pray for me. I'm gonna ask Savannah to marry me this week and stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I know Wes and is in Knoxville and Blake's in Nashville and Trey's all the way down in Williamsburg. But you know what? I like these guys. I don't want to not let them be a part of my life just because of distance.
Well, I mean,
like,
like I
you
said,
gotta.
you've bonded
like,
with them. I mean,
yeah,
that's
like I was
that's
like,
a huge
I
moment
like
in your life
these
that you
guys.
want to
Yeah,
share with.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I know Cameron and Savannah had a good conversation a couple of weeks ago about all this stuff, and I was like, this is an important milestone in our relationship.
And
And
Cameron walk
and
up
it-
to you and like, you better go buy a ring.
oh no,
She getting ready to leave your ass.
no, I already had a ring. It was in the wrong size, and it was taking Kay forever to let me get that. Kiss.
Not a sponsor. K is not a
Oh,
sponsor.
he went to K.
Yeah, the first marriage was Jared, so we avoided that.
That's kind of like the Hardy song. He went to Jared's and I went to the bar.
Yeah.
Justin did both.
I did do both.
He went to
So
Jared and he's like, what the fuck am I doing?
I spent a lot of money at
Who
Jared.
the hell is Jared?
He's an asshole. I think he's in jail. So we play a lot of shows. We've all had some crazy things that's happened out in our shows. What do you think is what's the wildest, craziest, funniest anything that's happened to you while playing a show? I know what mine is now.
Was it with me?
Projectile vomiting
Yeah,
behind my
yeah.
truck during a show.
The one that I like to quote the best is I was playing a show at a venue so last year I had a booking agent. And he booked me a lot of like one-off shows, but he did build me some relationships in Nashville. I've played a couple of those venues since then. But one of the best things, he booked me for a lot of acoustic shows, and I was really in the vein of, I really want to play full band stuff because it's so much more fun. You make way less money, but it's so much more fun to have a band because I was making great money playing acoustic shows. So he would book me an acoustic show. He booked me a show in Lexington at a rooftop bar.
Bales?
No, it was on the Rocks.
I don't know that one.
It's literally the same building that Stagger Inn is in.
Oh, okay.
The Roxy.
Oh,
It's the rooftop of the Roxy.
Yeah, I know where
Roxy.
it's at. I know where
Yeah.
that's at.
So anyway, they asked not to book me again. But
Took a turn.
Assholes.
so here's the problem with it though. They needed like a DJ. It was really a club vibe.
Yeah.
And I show up with my acoustic guitar and a tower array system and
Somebody
plug
lost
into
their
So
job
downtown
that night.
Lexington wanted a DJ.
downtown. Well,
Got
they
it.
should have hired one, but they hired me as a country artist. Acoustic. They didn't even hire full band. Which,
Because they have an awesome full band on a rooftop.
yeah, I mean that
That'd
would
be
be
sick.
so
That
dope.
would be awesome.
So anyway, they didn't. They hired me to come in acoustic. I thought people had a great time, which in the moment, it's very different than what like a management would perceive possibly, or bartenders are telling managers. This is how it went down.
Oh, I know nothing about that.
But they so anyway, I have like 3 stories from this particular gig. I played for 3 hours until like 1 or 2 in the morning. A bachelorette party came in at one point, and they were all sitting. It's kind of an L-shaped bar, and I was on the like bottom of the L. And one of the bachelorette or the bridesmaids came up to me and asked if the bride could sing a song with me.
That's a negative.
Never.
Well, I'll say this:
Oh no, did you?
I let her sing a song,
Oh,
but I said
Rookie
And
mistake.
Rookie
This
mistake.
is
rookie
why
mistake.
this is a story now.
Yes.
yeah.
it was a rookie mistake.
He lived
That's why
and he
there's
learned
not a
that night.
story like this post this gig.
You're learning. It's okay.
Yeah. So this was like in May of last year. Like I said, I started.
Oh, yeah, you
yeah. It
were
was like
just a ripe
very
little
early
lad.
on.
Yeah,
in
you were
this.
still learning. Still learning.
So I
Just a
let her
little
sing a
tadpole.
song.
Yeah.
And I just showed her my set list. I said, pick a song from this. It's like karaoke. Pick a song. Well, then she picked Use Somebody by Kings of Leon, which we still do in our set.
Yeah, that's
We were
a great
talking about
song.
that earlier. I really like that we kind of transition out of country and then back in. But so anyway, I start playing the guitar. I'm having to like sing in her ear the melody because she can't find the key. I've got video of this whole song, and it's terrible.
I love it. It probably
She-
sounds like me, like I'm tone deaf.
She truly, and then we got done, and like her friends like tipped me or whatever, and
They're hyping her
They're
up.
hyping her
You're
up.
so good.
Slay Queen.
Yeah. So but then she goes, "That wasn't the right key," and I was like, "How am I supposed to know what key you want this song in?"
Yeah. Also, I'm playing.
Also, this is
You
the key.
invited yourself on my stage.
Right.
Like,
And I was like, how do you hold me accountable that you didn't
I messed up. It's your fault.
right?
that's a lucky man.
I was just like,
That she's
I
gonna be
picked,
going home
I
to.
picked a male song and sang it in a female key.
in a
that
male
artist
key.
sucks.
I just played it in the key that I sang it in.
Right, yeah.
So I was like,
As you should.
and so I was trying to like sing it for her, and it was terrible. The video is truly
Masterpiece.
priceless because
Yeah.
you can just hear her struggle through the whole thing.
If you'll send it to me, we will include
Yep.
it on
We
the
will add a
podcast.
link.
We will add it right here.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
And video.
That same gig, we had, we'd gotten later into the night. People were starting to get more energy, as Willie would say.
Energy.
They were starting to drink a
Energized.
little bit,
Important.
and
You gotta stay energized.
Keeps the bills paid.
Absolutely.
they had set me up a stool to sit on, like a bar stool, if I wanted to. I didn't sit on it the whole night. I just stood and played. And this girl came up who was very energetic. And
She Morgan Wallen that bar store right off the roof.
that would have been
At least it was the bar stool and not the other Morgan Wallen situation.
Yes.
So she comes up to me. She's so drunk. She's with a dude, and she comes up to me and she goes, "Can you play Hardy?" And I said, "Sure. Like I've got a couple Hardy songs I could do." I can't remember which one I did. Maybe Boyfriend or something. And I finish it. Everybody claps or whatever. She's still standing the whole time. She's been standing directly next to me.
Looking in the eyes.
I had an iPad on my mic stand for lyrics and stuff. She was just reading the lyrics as I sang them on the iPad. She wasn't even looking at me. She was just glaring at the screen of the iPad. So I get done, and I was like, "Oh, there you go. There's your Hardy." And she goes, "Play Hardy."
I just.
And I was
Just
like, "I
did.
just did."
That happens in that basement too, I promise.
So I played another Hardy song. And she did the exact same thing. And she just stood there and read the iPad.
God, you gotta love drunk people.
But she also, at
Or
one point,
energized.
sat down on the bar stool behind me. And her boyfriend was not as drunk, or the guy that she was with was not as drunk as she was. And so he kept trying to get her to because it wasn't a stage. I was just standing on the same level as these people. There was no stage. So that was a lot of fun. Everybody just anytime we do Give Heaven Some Hell now by Hardy,
It
and
it gets a little energized.
and then you just hear my dad now in videos just going, "Play Hardy," because he knows that story. It's great. But gosh, I was trying to think if there's anything else. Now, if you watch any videos of us playing live, you can't take a video next to my dad because you just hear him singing harmony the whole time.
Your dad also has fantastic tastes in hats, by the way.
He does. You all had matching hats.
We have the same Stetson.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
He
nice.
made me sign that Stetson after that show.
Oh yeah.
And then he wore it to the beach, and it
Was
got
he
destroyed.
energetic when he asked?
He wore a
Yes.
Stetson
I was going
to
to
the
say, you
beach.
are his son. I don't know why
dude,
he asked
he
you for
wore
your
a
autograph.
Stetson. He wore his Stetson to the beach. He called it his beach hat, and then it was so windy.
Expensive beach
I
hat.
chased that hat down the beach for probably a quarter mile.
I bet you look like Bo Derek with the braids.
You put more effort into your dad than I would have. Mine than Pappy's gone.
Like Dad, I've gone too.
That's your fault.
After that.
You should have known better, Dad. I love it.
Man, yeah, the shows are so fun to just people watch. I have to watch myself because if we're playing at a bar, there's a TV. I just end up watching the TV.
Oh, I do that. I do
watch
that so
TV
much.
constantly.
That's why we
Yeah.
put the biggest TV in the back of our venue so the artist can still see what's on the
Yeah,
TV.
I
Especially
literally-
during like UK games.
Yes,
I
You have-
purposely put the biggest TV in the back of the room.
You have no idea how many times I've watched something.
You guys do
Do you-
expertises like
Did
I
you
am.
see
If they have in-ears and there's a game on and I know they're fans, I'll give them updates right in the middle of their set.
Wes and I Saturday when we played Lori's, we were watching on ESPN.
the cornhole,
No, the pillowcase fighting.
pillowcase fighting.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
see
saw
that?
So cool.
I was
Yeah. They had
mesmerized.
like ESPN the Ocho
So
on, and it was
on-
professional pillow
and
fighting.
it was professional pillowcase fighting, and me and our drummer Wes, we just kind of said, I was like, "Are you seeing this?" And he was like, "If Trey moves, I will watch it."
Dude.
And every time you would step to the
All of a
side,
sudden
he'd be
throws a
like,
drumstick at him to get out of the way.
"Yeah." It
That's
was-
another funny thing is the interactions that people don't see with when you have in-ears, because Blake, my guitarist, and Wes, my drummer, both have talkback mics, and I have a talkback mic that's on a hot switch.
I don't
So,
have one for legal
Justin
reasons.
doesn't have one for legal reasons.
That, as someone
If you
who
need
is-
clarification, ask Marshall about what happens when Justin gets a talkback mic.
or me, who has been in a band with him, on the rare occasion that we would give him a talkback mic,
Oh, it was so much fun.
it's something.
I made Blake cry one night. Not our Blake, but our old
Yeah,
drummer
yeah.
Blake. I made him cry of laughter. I gave Marshall the sermon.
Greatest scripture ever told.
Yeah, here, Trey. I'll read you this.
Please do.
It's straight from the
gosh.
Bible.
So Justin, let me. I'll give the backstory here. So Justin's drunk. He gets engaged. He's celebrating.
Oh, I thought you were going to give the original
Oh,
backstory.
the original at Lori's.
At Lori's on.
Oh, I was
it
gonna give the
It
backstory
was
for
the night
this one.
before
So-
Easter.
Give the backstory of the Lori's.
It was the night
and
before
then-
Easter at Lori's.
Yeah, and I was.
It really was actually.
Yeah,
really honestly was.
Yeah,
No,
that's,
it really
that's
was.
why I gave the sermon.
He was
And-
energetic.
He was very energetic.
I was
Man,
overly energetic.
We went to a Mexican restaurant before the show, and we drunk them out of tequila.
Yeah.
But Justin gives a sermon in the green room before they go on stage.
It was the night before Easter, so I had to read my favorite Bible verse.
And I couldn't get a phone out quick enough to record it, and I've tried and tried and tried to
Some-
get him
one
to
of the-
let me record it to where it's an intro track for whatever band he's in.
One of the security guards at Lori's has it. Next time I'm up there, I'll get him to send it to me. He has the video, but
So he kept trying to talk to Marshall on Saturday,
and they're-
and I said the
Trying,
only way.
I think he succeeded.
I very
No,
much
this was the
succeeded.
deal. This was the deal. He kept trying to press the button and take my talkback mic, and I said the only way I'm going to let you talk to him is you have to give the sermon to them before they start their next set. When they're on stage tuning and they've all got their ears in, you have to give the sermon. And he's like, deal.
Done.
So
Son.
continue.
So the sermon is it's my favorite Bible verse from Ezekiel chapter 23. It starts in verse 19. We're going to go to church tonight, everyone. Have you heard this one, Cody? So it is.
we got some new followers.
Started in verse 19. It says, and I'm reading from the ESV. Says, yet she increased her whoring, remembering the days of her youth, when she played the whore in the land of Egypt, and lusted after her lovers, whose members were like those of donkeys, and whose issues were of those of horses. So, it's in the Bible,
I
folks.
can't imagine
That's
being on
it.
stage and hearing that though.
Justin
That's
and
it.
Jared were the only two that had their ears in.
No,
Tristan
Caleb-
hadn't made the stage
Caleb-
yet. And Cam
Caleb
didn't
did.
have his
No,
in, and
Cam-
they're just friggin' dying laughing.
Jared is like, what the?
You've texted that to us before in the
I
group
think so.
chat.
Yeah.
Did you preface it with, "Hey guys, I'm going to read you"?
He said we're
verse?"
close
Yeah.
enough to Sunday
I
to
said,
where
yeah.
we need a
Saturday
little
night.
God in
It was
us.
Saturday night. I said, boys,
Actually, no, it
it's
was probably Sunday morning by that point.
no. It was. We left. Me and Savannah left just before. It was right before we left, and I was like, boys, it's close enough to Sunday morning. Let me give you a little bit of encouragement here.
Justin stood up and took his hat off.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Please
That's
stand
so
for the
fun.
reading of Scripture.
Please. Yeah. So
What I
that's,
should have done was put him to the mains whenever he started.
You should have.
Oh God, no! Because what I said after that probably wouldn't have. We're not going to say that, but
I don't even remember what
oh
you
yeah,
said.
it was something
Probably
about being a whore, and it's okay. Cause
Oh
it's in
yeah,
the
you said
Bible.
it's okay to be a whore. Sometimes the Bible said so.
Goodness.
I don't. I gotta avoid the talk back.
Yeah, Blake
at all
and
costs.
Wes. I've had to tell them a couple times, like, let's chill. We've got maybe a lady playing fiddle with us. Let's keep it PG-13.
Blake
My
gets
favorite-
me sometimes. He's just so out of pocket every
dude,
so
he-
often.
yeah.
I feel like
It's like,
female
wait a second.
musicians are worse than guys, though.
Not the ones we've played with.
No, well,
Nope.
played with us once.
I'll keep my comments to myself.
Okay, well, fine. I feel you might bleep that.
Whack.
out. I don't know.
We're making at it.
Okay.
My favorite one, though,
I knew
that-
her boyfriend of years.
Okay.
it happens every night that we play. We do Somebody Like You by Keith Urban. And there's a particular guitar lick in the chorus.
Let's go, bitch.
Yeah, that's Wes kind of directs everybody, and then Blake just calls out chords to Justin.
Yeah, because I'm not prepared.
The new Will. Blake is the new Willie.
Willie.
But,
gotta have
Wes,
music
every
director,
night,
man.
every night we play. Right before that, he'll go, "Hit it, bitch!" every time, and it's so funny. I lose it every time.
You guys ever play here and I'm running sound that talk back at that moment is going through the mains?
It's so good, dude.
Yeah,
They're so funny.
yeah. I gotta avoid it, but well, we appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, of
tonight and
course.
spending some time with us. What do you got? What we got coming up? I know we got some shows at the end of August.
Got some shows in August.
Yeah, advertise end of August, beginning of September, and maybe even end of September. We don't know when this
Yeah,
is
so
coming
I
out.
think
yeah.
right now, what do we got on the schedule? Like,
Coming up, we've got August 24th, we're at Austin City and Lexington. August 31st, we're at Austin City, Corbin. On September 14th, we are making our debut at Frankie's Plaza in Moorhead. We're also hoping, we're in talks, I believe, to maybe make a BBH debut at some point this fall as well.
Ooh.
I believe that is in the works.
Yeah, so
As far as me and her have talked,
So
trying
we'll-
to find a date that works with you.
yeah, so we'll have those dates available. We most likely have talked to Christian up at Lori's today. Actually, we'll have a fall show up there at some point as well. So,
heck yeah.
but we announce all our shows as well as new music coming out. I will have a new song coming out called Yellow Pages this fall. But
My
we
favorite
announce all
song,
of
by
that.
the way.
I'm sorry.
It's my favorite song that you've written.
I'm glad that you think that.
I love it.
That's
I
a
listen
great-
to it all
I
the
like
time.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a great song.
So I have
Um,
one final question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any piece of advice for somebody that's might be sitting there listening, that's wanting to get into it? What piece of advice would you give them?
It's not going to be a walk in the park. You got to work at it, but find guys to be in your band that are talented, but
Or
also are or girls. Find people to be in your
Way to go,
band.
PC.
You're welcome.
Find individuals to be in your band
There we go. Now we're talking.
that you trust as musicians. Justin excluded. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll accept that. I'm not a musician.
No,
You're not telling
I
us nothing
trust
we
him
don't know.
as an entertainer.
There you go. Thank you.
I feel like that goes
I
on and
played
off
with
stage.
him for a year and a
Yes,
half.
Base don't
trust him
matter.
as a musician.
Because you can be great on stage and be a dick to the venue people,
Yes.
and it will not get you
Oh,
booked back.
Yeah, that was the second part of that is trust him as a musician on stage. Be friends with them off stage. Make sure that they respect the people that invite you into their space to come play. That's one thing that I make a point to do at every show is make sure that I'm saying it's optional for y'all to tip the band. We appreciate it, but it is 100% not optional for y'all to tip bartenders, servers. Make sure that the venue is taken care of, because I want the venue to say, man, when Trey Bryant comes and plays, we make great tips because he's saying from stage, make sure you take care of bartenders and servers. Also, just be a nice person. That goes so much farther. Like, you can be the best musician in the world, and if you are full of yourself or you're just a dick, people will not want to be around you or have you back at a venue. So you can be a pretty medium musician. You have to have some talent, but being nice to people and being a good person to be around and easy to work with goes so much farther than you think.
Yeah,
It's
that's where
farther.
I think that's why I'm where I'm in this spot right now. It's because I'm not a good musician. I think I'm just easy to work with. I'm flexible.
I think you are a good musician.
Well, shut the fuck
Nope.
up, but I appreciate it.
You are a good musician. But you also are an entertainer. You bring energy, and you're fun to hang out with.
Yeah,
And that's a huge part of all of it.
But,
So those are
there's-
that's really my advice would be don't be a dick,
Yeah.
and also work at it.
It's my final
Excellent.
thought is, what do you like to see from a venue that is hosting you that they can do for you and you can do for them to work together?
Free beer.
We might possibly be the only venue that does it.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
we give every band a tab
Mm.
to drink on that doesn't come out of your pay.
Oh, nice.
We just ask that the band tips the bartenders.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
100%.
like you had a $97 tab tonight. We're gonna take care of it. Just throw them a 20 or something.
Yeah, and that's something that I always try to do. Going back to like advice, I guess, is I always tip a bartender even if it's a free tab, just because they're taking care of us.
They have to listen to me all night.
They have to listen to me all night. And I mean, in terms of what I like out of a venue, really providing a decent space, providing a sound person, Colin, that
yeah,
that
he's
doesn't-
tired of me running sound.
providing a sound person that doesn't make you feel like you're an inconvenience to be there.
Oh gosh.
Because I've struggled with that at venues. We've simplified our setup enough that it's more complicated for us, but we can not be as much of a burden. And honestly, just allow us to come in and, have your bartenders. That's one thing that I've seen at other venues we've played. I have bartenders that come up and they're like, you guys are our favorite band that plays here. We love it when you guys are here. And that kind of support means so much more than some drunk person or energetic person on the front row that's like, hell yeah, man, you guys are awesome. Sing Freebird. It's like, no, like if the people that work there truly, truly enjoy you being there, it just makes everything a little bit nicer and a little bit more enjoyable for us.
Well, you're making an impact.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the things that we do well here, which these guys can attest to, is making you feel like a part of the bar instead of just hired guns.
Yeah.
Because we do, have a $20,000 sound system.
Yeah.
We do have a stage. We have a dance floor. You get paid very well to play here. But it's also, we let you express yourself artistically how you want to. Some bars say, hey, you can only play, top 100 songs.
Yeah.
Like you can only play country here. You can only play rock-based music here.
Yeah, I mean, it was
We're
just a couple
very
weeks
much
ago.
of-
We had just like a mashup of stuff. We had guys up on stage playing alt rock, and then Savannah getting on there doing strictly country, and
Yeah.
everybody
But
still.
one of
had
the
a
things
great
that we
time.
wanted to do is that, which I like to do, is put different people with each other. So we had Savannah, who is mainly country. She has a couple of those rocky songs that she'll do, but the other one was what I call like punk pop.
Yeah.
They'll do like punk songs. They'll
Took
do
me and Cody
some
back to
rock.
our high school days.
Oh yeah, it made me want to take my hair down and throw it around, and I'm trying to work. But I had such
Whip
a
your
great
hair
night
back and forth.
because it was just a different experience coming in somewhere that had everything.
Right.
Like if you didn't like what song was playing, wait 20 minutes, and there's going to be a different band here.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Feeling like you're like your family with the bar, and that's part of what the deal is with our band. Like, I love feeling like we're all just family and we're all on the same page. And when the venue feels like that too, and the manager's coming up, hey, can I get you guys anything? You guys are awesome. Appreciate y'all being here. Just wanted to check in. Thank y'all for coming. Like that goes so far. Whereas like I've played places where they've been like, just tolerating that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a struggle because you feel like you're not welcome. And you feel like you can't express yourself artistically. But when you come into a place and all of the staff come around you and they're like, "Hey, you guys are awesome. Make yourself at home." You know, it really just makes it feel like you're not, like you said, like not a hired gun, not some band that they hired off the street. Like you're somebody that really that venue is putting their trust in you, that you're going to come in and A, do your job, but also B,
keep people here
and have a good time. Because like a band's not going to want to come back to a place that they're not having a good time.
Right. And we're not going to want to have a band back that looks like they're not having a good time.
Right.
Oh, yeah, they look like Willie son up there.
I'm pretty lame.
I hate
Just RBF'd out.
I do. I keep my hat down. I'm there to
No,
play
let's
music.
be honest, that's me.
I'm there to play music, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
If you ever play here and you look at the sound guy and he looks like he's having a miserable time, he's actually having a great time.
It's Colin.
It's just Colin.
I get
Colin.
asked on so many.
If he
different
looks like he's
occasions,
having
why
a
are you
great
so
time, I would
pissed
be
off?
more concerned.
Yeah.
Actually.
If he
Yeah.
looks like he's having a great time, he's too energetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
You need to let me
he's
know.
very energetic.
Oh,
We don't
goodness.
need to see that.
Where can we find you on social media? How do we find your music and you? Where do we see all this stuff?
Everything is basically just Instagram and TikTok is at Trey Bryant Music, TreyBryant Music. I also have a website that has all of those things linked, TreyBryantMusic.com, which has some like YouTube videos and photos and links to original music and all of that stuff as well as a schedule of our upcoming shows. I also post about upcoming shows as well. So basically Instagram is probably the best way to connect. So at Trey Bryant Music on Instagram.
All right. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you all
Guys?
for having me.
Anybody got anything? Willie? Cody?
Never.
Colin?
No, I'm good.
Trey?
I'm good. Thank you all.
Good. Cameron? She's good. All right. Well, until next time, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks.